Yes, life is short, whether it's 2 years or 100 years, but it's full of time with long nights and cloudy days. Life gives us a chance to love, to enjoy the beauty of the flowers, the greenness of the grass, and most of all, to know people. People of different occupations, people of different races. Yes, it's time to love because life is so short. Mrs. Maddie Farmer, this is your program. You are 100 years old and we love you. 100 years of happiness. Born at the turn of the 20th century, in the year of our Lord, 1902. Born in Yuma, Tennessee. Moving to Boynton, Oklahoma, as her family looked for better opportunities. And then finally they moved to Oklahoma City, where her husband worked in the brickyard. But she worked for the Kellys and was an outstanding worker. Then she had an art of cooking, and she could cook well. She cooked for the Kellys, and then she cooked in various cafes downtown. But most of all today, I want you to remember a 101-year-old beautiful lady by the name of Maddie Farmer. Maddie Farmer took care of her mother, and her mother died when she was 90 years old. I'm talking about a lady that's 101 years old, full of happiness, full of excitement. And those of you at the St. James, the loving St. James Baptist Church, you ministered to her. You remember her as she worked on the Mower Meal program. You remembered her as she ministered to people in the church. And Reverend Parker and that group never forgot their senior citizens. Oh, Mrs. Maddie Farmer is so grateful to Reverend W.B. Parker and the other members of the loving St. James Baptist Church. But Mrs. Maddie Farmer, 101 years old. Oh, she loved people, but let me tell you something. She's the most fortunate person that I can think of. She's fortunate because she has a daughter-in-law by the name of Alice Farmer, who is taking care of her. I don't mean to get personal with you, but how many of you would take care of your mother-in-law if she was 100 years old? Well, somebody else would have thrown her somewhere, but not Alice Farmer. Alice Farmer is a member of the New Zion Baptist Church, and she believes what the church is all about. She is taking care of her mother-in-law. Now, listen at this. Her mother-in-law all of these years. And Mrs. Maddie Farmer still eats well, still looks well, and although she cannot move as fast as she used to, she is still on the ball. And today, we salute and dedicate this program to Mrs. Maddie Farmer, born in Yuma, Tennessee, moving to Oklahoma, looking for better opportunities for her children. We must tell the story over and over of people. And maybe that's what I enjoy about being on radio, because I can talk about people. I can certainly talk about Alice Strain, who was born in Perkins, Oklahoma, attending school in Stroud, Oklahoma, Dunbar, Oklahoma. She attended Dunbar School. She went to high school in Channel, and she worked. And many of you remember her because she ran a grocery store in Carverdale Addition. She was assistant cook at Dunbar Elementary School. You remember her because she had her own dress shop. You remember her because she moved to California. Now she managed a hotel. and invested in large real estate dealings. But she came back to Oklahoma, to the home where she was born. And then in Stroud, you will remember her as a member of the St. Peter's Baptist Church. And those of you at Fifth Street will remember her as a member of the Fifth Street Baptist Church, which was known as Mount Rose, where she served in different capacities. She served as a deaconess. She served, I cannot name the different areas in which she served. But many of you remember her parents, the Coopers from Stroud, Oklahoma, Joseph and Lucilla Cooper. Well, maybe you remember Alice through her sisters that you know so well, Lady Ruth Hunter, Elnora Douglas. But I remember Alice Strain because she was one of the strong supporters of the NACP Youth Council of Freedom Center. Oh, she loved to help us sell catfish. She could get on the telephone and call her friends and say the NACP Youth Council is selling catfish. And she sold catfish. She not only that, but once we were getting ready to go to the National Convention and didn't have enough money, and she went down in her pocket and she said to Mrs. Walker, to Clara Luper and Gloria Matthews, these young people are going, and I'm going to help send them. And she did. But then many of you remember her through her two grandsons, David and Ryan. But most of all, those of you at Tabitha Baptist Church will remember her because she loved the church. And one habit that Alice had all the time, she would always write down certain words. And one I picked up that she wrote down that I would like to give you today. She wrote this scripture that she loved so well. And God shall wipe away all tears from the eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither shall there be any more pains, for the former things are passed away, and all things are new. We do not know for sure when Alice Strain's funeral will be, but we would ask you to watch the newspaper and be sure and put your arms around this family, because we have lost a great American. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our weather boy.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Darion, your weather boy. This don't do rain and cold today, and it's gonna be cold.
What about tomorrow?
I don't know.
You don't know about tomorrow. Thank you, Severe. How old are you now?
4 years old.
Where are you going to school?
Brain.
Oh, I see. Well, thank you so very kindly. And now the sports. The sports now.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Fidel, your sports report. Boys basketball scores are Putnam City 110, Mustang 55, Midwest City 64, Lawton 54, Norman North 72, Stillwater 69, Edmond Memorial 55, Northwest 41, Edmond North 60, Yukon 38, Norman 68, Edmond Santa Fe 47, Westmore 46, Putnam West 42, Lawton Eisenhower 57, Choctaw 43, Tulsa, Washington 66, Enid 52, Muskogee 59, Dale City 53, Southwest 67, Woodward 39, Western Heights 59, Capitol Hill 44, Lawton McAllister 65, Durant 50, Carl Albert 39, Noble 30, Ardmore 71, U.S. Grant 28, Chickasha 48, Duncan 47, John Marshall 77, Hera 27. This is Fidel, your sports report.
How do you get those scores? Where do you get them from?
I get them from on the TV and not the newspaper.
Okay then. Well, thank you so very kindly. How old are you now?
I'm 8 years old.
Thank you so very kindly. One of the thrills of being involved with the Miss Black America pageant is to see people climb the ladder of success. It was so great for us when we found out that Oprah Winfrey was now a billionaire. We remember her as Miss Black Tennessee, where she lost in that contest. But she went back, continued to improve herself, and now she's given us the honor of being the first black female billionaire. That's a lot of money. But speaking of pageants, I would like to announce today that one of the former Miss Black Oklahoma contestants is now Miss Oklahoma USA. That is Star Williams, who was from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I will be telling you more about her in just a minute. In the meantime, this is the Clara Luper radio show. Hello?
Hello, this is Wisdom.
Wisdom, I need some wisdom this morning.
All right. The difference, you got the difference in gossip and news is when whether you're telling it. Gossip and
Just a minute, tell me that again. The difference in what?
gossip and news, or whether you're hearing it or whether you're telling it.
That's a good one. The difference between gospel and news is whether you are hearing it or whether you are telling it.
Yeah.
Thank you so very kindly.
All righty.
And I love you so much. Star Williams is Miss Oklahoma USA 2003. Many of you will remember her as Miss Black Oklahoma. But on December the 8th, 2002, she was crowned Miss Oklahoma USA 2003. She didn't stop. You remember in 2001, she was the first runner-up. And Star tells me that God was with her, and she gives all honor to him. God has placed his favor upon her life, and she's very grateful. She has a goal to be crowned Miss USA 2003 and then represent the United States at the Miss Universe pageant. Dream on, girl. She tells us how many doors have been opened to us, to her, since she became Miss Black Oklahoma and went on to win Miss Oklahoma USA. On March 19th through the 24th, she will be competing for Miss USA in San Antonio, Texas. That will be televised live on NBC at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on March 24th. And I want all of you to be sure and listen to it. And I'm sure a large delegation will be going from Oklahoma to watch Miss Oklahoma USA, which is one of ours, Star Williams. After tomorrow, we will no longer take any applications for Miss Black Oklahoma or Miss Black Oklahoma City. So far, we have 45 contestants for Miss Black Oklahoma, the state pageant. 45 contestants. We have some of the most beautiful young ladies that you will ever see anywhere. Tonight at 7 o'clock, Oklahoma University will select that one young lady that will represent them in Miss Black Oklahoma. Now, I want you to be there. I want you to go down to OU and see OU select their girls. Calvin, what do you think? We have 45 contestants in the Miss Black Oklahoma State pageant.
What do I think, Mom? I think that this is a beautiful day, and it's such a blessing, such a pleasure, such a thrill to be here once again, live and in beautiful living color on the Clara Luper Radio Show. How are you doing this morning?
I am doing fine, but I'm so excited. We got 45.
45.
But I'm not 40. I'm not satisfied with 45 because Miss Oklahoma had 51, and therefore I got to get 6 more.
Well, I know this. I know that today, this evening, that there will be a celebration down in Norman, not because of the basketball or the wrestling or the football teams, but because they will be selecting that one young lady who will represent the University of Oklahoma's Miss Black Oklahoma University. Always at OU comes in real strong. The young lady is going to come, I know, with some great talent. And I know that the show there, the presentation there at the University of Oklahoma is always spectacular. Berlin and Nero and I generally go, and we thoroughly enjoy that Miss Black OU pageant. Looking forward to that tonight.
But Miss Black Langston University will be next Thursday night, and we have someone on the telephone. Hello?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coco Thomas, your fantastic reporter. NAACP Youth Council meetings are every Monday night at 7 o'clock. I hope to see you all at Radio Land there. The Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant will be March 21st. So I hope that everyone will join and support us. Throughout your week, please remember this. Instead of asking God what He can do for you, ask what you can do for God.
Okay, thank you for quoting. You quoted President Kennedy. You turned him around. Get out the way.
That's that meal philosophy. Way to go, Coco.
I would like to kind of run down and tell you who some of the contestants
Please
are.
do, man, because I don't believe you can say all 45 of those.
I'm just going to call the cities.
You call the city?
The cities that are participating. Okay. Ardmore, Bethany, Cameron University, Chandler, Camelot, Comanche, Dale City, Deer Creek, Edmond, Forest Park, Guthrie, Gray, Roar, Langston University, Midwest City, Millwood, Muskogee County, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma County, Oklahoma City University, Oklahoma State University, Oklahoma University, OSU Tech. How am I doing, Calvin?
You're doing real well. That's 25 seconds.
Putnam City North, Putnam City West, original Putnam City, Piedmont, Rose State, Spencer, Tulsa County, UCO Village, Yukon, War, Acres, Jones, Parkers High, Spencer, Choctaw. Calvin, how did I do?
40 seconds, Mom, and you named them all off. Now, but we also know that part of the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant includes the talent presentation, and includes the questions from the
yes, it includes all of that, Calvin.
Judges.
But we've got to hurry because today...
Why you want to rush me? It's the Clara Luper Radio Show.
That you are exactly right. And I would like to congratulate you because last week you had the opportunity to speak at the Lighthouse Church of God, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you, Mom. I accept your congratulations, but I went there prepared, and I knew that I would be good. I'm just glad that I
don't know about that, Calvin. But
okay. Well, you were there.
Yes, I was there. You spoke at the Lighthouse Church of God in Christ, that's located at 208 Southeast 62nd Street in Oklahoma City. I was so impressed by the welcome by Laverne McCain, and that Lighthouse Ensemble was out of sight. Plus the Children of Light and that Trinity, they did We Shall Overcome, and they did it. And that reading selection by Sister Hawkins, the First Lady, who's not only the First Lady in talent, but also the First Lady in beauty. The Miracle Temple Church. Oh my gracious, that was great. And then Betty Hawkins picked it up and did those Negro spirituals.
That was pretty.
And Bishop James and Brenda Davis was good. That was some program. And the Gospel of Peace Church of God in Christ was there, and Reverend Hawkins had me to introduce you. I love that, introducing
nice.
my own son. And you did a great job, Calvin. What was your subject?
Mom, it was a very difficult subject for me to do because I had to talk about a person that I've only been knowing all my life. And the subject was, how does it feel being Clara Luper's son? And even though it's a little simple sounding, in order to present that to to the public. It took a little time, a little work. But see, the way the program went and the excitement that those young people showed, that the Reverend Hawkins showed, I knew I had to really put forth my best foot. And I feel like the church enjoyed it. And I know that I touched the spot with you and with Mr. Wilson.
And with your
Mom,
sister.
my sisters and
your aunt,
and
Anita.
everybody that was there. Because I just told it how it really felt to be Clara Luper's son. Bottom line, it feels good, but it's a difficult job to being the son of Clara Luper, because you have some big feet. But then I was good. I don't want to redo the speech, because unless you want me to redo the speech, you have to do my agent.
I was really proud of you, because I never thought about how it felt to be my son. Right. But anyway, that presentation of that skit by those young people, No Coat, that was written by Sister Hawkins, I think. Yes. But Reverend Hawkins is so diversified. That man, he can preach, and he can sing, and he can play that organ, and he's out of sight. Calvin, they didn't ask you to sing, though.
No, Mom, we had already made arrangements on that, and that, in order to sing in public, I have to give up my agent. I can speak anywhere, but I just can't get up and start singing. So that was understood prior to going to the church. But it was a warm fellowship feeling during the entire time I was there, and I want to publicly thank the Lighthouse Church for the blessings and the hospitality that they showed me and my family.
Well, somebody said that there was a preacher in Oklahoma City talking about changing the name of Black History Month to Future History Month. That's the silliest idea I've ever heard. And this week I did some research on the halls of Congress this past month. The senators and the representatives recognize Black History Month. All over this country and the world, it was Black History Month. And that reminded me of that group of Turks that came to the NAACP convention. You remember they wanted to change the name of the NAACP. Those young black and white lawyers like to run them all the time. And anybody think they're going to change the name of Miss Black or the Black History Month or the Afro-American Month or the Negro History Month, they are just dreaming.
Definitely. A lot of people dream things because, nothing wrong with dreaming, but to actually make that possible, that takes a lot of work. The thing about Black history, Negro history, Afro-American history is that we need to know that history, things that have gone on before us. We need to understand how dirty slavery was. What kind of history
can you talk about the future? You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
The future is no history.
You don't even know what Bush is going to do.
We got a good idea, but I don't think that'll fly. And if it does even come out more publicly, I'm certain that
I haven't heard but one person say that.
Well, that might have been one person too many, because of the fact Black history needs to be taught better. I can go for that. Black history needs to be better understood. I can understand
black
that.
People and white people need to know Black history. And I've enjoyed being in white schools this past month and see those kids. And I would like to thank Mr. Matthew Hamlin and Miss Farmer out at the Diagnostic Laboratory of Oklahoma. That's located at 1001 Cornell Parkway, who gave me an opportunity to be part of that Black History celebration. Now, Mr. Hamlin, a white man, a very important executive, was talking about Black history and did a terrific job. Well,
he probably knew more about Black history than that person that wants to change the name to Future History.
Nobody, that was a joke.
That was I believe.
That was a joke.
He was joking when he said that.
I think he was joking. I don't think he really meant that, because nobody's going to change to Future History. How can you have Future History if you don't know what the future holds? Well, anyway.
Where are you speaking this week? Do you have any engagements? I see Langston University was Black.
National Women's Week, and I've been invited to speak. I just hate to keep telling you where all I'm speaking.
Go ahead and brag
somebody said, I do have something to brag about.
You certainly do.
I like to go to places where I don't know anyone, but I have an advantage because I'm black as a blackberry. And when I go into these white schools and white churches, everybody knows my name. name because I'm so black. This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and I have something for you. Start at 9:30 a.m.
Well, let me give this phone number too, so if those people who haven't already gone and gotten their pencil and their piece of paper don't have the number ready, they get it ready because this is going to be a dynamic, hot show. It's something of major interest to all of us here in America, all of us, especially right here in Oklahoma. That number is, drum roll please, 672-1220. Call that friend, call that neighbor, invite them to be a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show.
This program is being brought to you by Robert Gates of Gates Barbershop, located at 2609 North Martin Luther King in Oklahoma City, and they are all ready to cut your hair. All you have to do is just walk in and get that hair cut. They have a slogan, we make people beautiful. Hometown is open until 12 o'clock for your convenience.
Hometown IGA?
Hometown in Oklahoma City.
Grocery store?
Yes,
Okay.
open for your convenience, and you can buy anything you want there. Those of you that want insurance, Calvin, tell them about the insurance.
Oh, I'd love to tell you about that because I'm telling you about the best in insurance, Allstate Insurance, specifically Merle and Hildreth's office located 730 West Britton Road. That phone number, 843-0811. The office opens at 9, and we try to close at 5, but if you're having any insurance problems, if you have any insurance needs, we will stay a little longer to make sure that you, when you leave, that you're a happy customer. We have home insurance, life insurance, automobile insurance. Those of you who have boats, those of you who have helicopters, we can insure you. Invite your family, and you, if you're concerned about your family's future, if you're concerned about taking care of your family's needs, even though you may not be here, Allstate Insurance, give us a call. You can speak with Merle Hildreth, April Hildreth, or even me, but Calvin Luper, but you can give us a call, 843-0811, 730 West Britton Road.
You need somewhere where you can feel satisfied with your children's safety. Therefore, I'm recommending Chauncey's Sardinas Daycare at 1643 Northeast 50th Street. The telephone number is 424-4656. Not only will they take care of your children, but they will also pick them up and deliver them. Paul Mathis has a way with children. All at Chauncey Sardinas, 1643 Northeast 50th Street in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You know, Calvin, this is a time of year that you really need a plumber.
You certainly do, especially when this cold comes and you messed around and didn't leave your faucet running and you got a broken pipe. Nothing's more fun than waking up to a puddle, to a lake of water inside your own house. But if I needed a plumber, Mom, what should I do? What do you suggest?
Just dial 771-4875 or 558-4040 and ask for Coma Herc.
Coma Herc?
Yes, Herc. Plumbing Company, 771-4875. But we got to have some automobile. I don't know whether we can afford gas or not, but we sure need an automobile. But what good will an automobile do without gas? But
well, you can get any kind of automobile.
If you need a car, tell them what
if you want a good car, if you want a car that comes with a warranty, if you want a salesman that comes with the car, call John Vance Motor Company. It's located I-35 in South Guthrie. The salesman to contact is none other than Rodale Hornbeak. Now, if you need a car, you want some good transportation, Rodale Hornbeak. Over 11 different lines of cars, including your Cadillac, your Buick, your Pontiac, your GMC truck, your Ford, your Mercury, Ford trucks, utility vehicles, Chrysler cars, Dodge trucks, Jeeps, PT Cruisers. But you aren't just buying a car. You're buying good service, and you're buying it from none other than Rodale Hornbeak at John Vance Motor Company. That phone number, 282-2113. What they don't have there on the lot, and that's really going to be a challenge, because at John Vance, they have a little bit of everything. I told you about the 11 lines, but 282-2113, call and meet Rodale there. Call and meet any of the salespeople there, but especially Rodale Hornbeak. And if not that, what they don't have, they will get for you. John Vance Motor Company, Rodale Hornbeck, salesman of salesmen.
This is the Clara Luper Radio Show, and we call your attention to things. This is our business. We feel that we have a responsibility. For example, I have been very critical of our new governor because I don't know what blacks that he has appointed to important positions. Maybe somebody wrote that we are the last ones hired and the first one fired. Well, on the appointments, I want to know, some of you Henry fans, what blacks have been appointed to positions.
I can tell you two that have been removed.
Oh yeah, sure. You tell me those have been removed, but those
they did that quickly. It didn't take no time to get rid of those blacks that were there. But Mama, before we go to that other part of that interview,
I have something today.
All right.
And this is something that Oklahoma City has gone to sleep on. I haven't heard. Those of you that believe in liberty and justice, I haven't heard you open your mouth on a case that's been very close to us. We have been doing some research for the past months because we wanted to make sure that when we stepped out, we would be stepping in the right direction. We have read in the paper about the Pete case, and people were real excited, and everybody wanted to really do something about that case. But then I ask you, we have another case that's even worse, as I see it now. This is Clara Luper. This is the way I see it, than the Pete case. It is a case that's being handled by one of our young, brilliant attorneys, Attorney Melvin C. Hall. And I've invited him here today because I wanted him to talk directly to you and tell you what we are facing in the Joyce Gilchrist case. How are you this morning, Mr. Attorney Hall?
Oh, I'm just fine. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, sir. I wanted you to come here because this case has been near my heart. I have watched with a great deal of interest to the newspaper articles, and there are some things that I can't understand. Would you explain the case for me, and then I have some questions for you.
Okay, I'll be happy to. First of all, I want to say that it's really been a joy to represent someone as significant and honorable as Joyce Gilchrist. I mean, the fact that I've met her, she is a fantastic human being, the consummate professional, and it's been an inspiration for me just to know her and to work with her. But she is a person who has been dealt one of the most egregious injustices that I've witnessed in my 20 years as a lawyer. Thank you for identifying me as a young lawyer, but I've been a lawyer for 20 years.
That's young.
That's young, thank you. But Joyce Gilchrist worked for the Oklahoma City Police Department for 21 years. And during that 21-year period, she had an impeccable record of service. She was named Employee of the Year. She received 5 commendations. She received numerous letters of appreciation and numerous accolades of every stripe that's imaginable for a person that's working for a police department. Joyce Gilchrist has maintained that she's done nothing wrong, and I think the evidence will show that, and I think in the end she will prevail, and I'm very excited to be her lawyer.
Do you think she will be cleared in Oklahoma City, where a man was beaten that was not beaten? He was just, I don't know what you would call it. Do you think she has any chance in the courts in Oklahoma when Ada Loy Scipio didn't have a chance? G.W. McLaurin didn't have a chance in the Oklahoma courts.
I think that's a very good point, but the only reservoir or avenue that we have is through the courts, but in this case, the law is on her side. When Aloy Scipio Fisher came through, the law was against her. I mean, discrimination against African Americans was illegal. Same way with McLaurin, and it wasn't until the Brown decision that discrimination was declared unconstitutional and illegal. So now the law is on the side of Joyce Gilchrist. Due process is on the side of Joyce Gilchrist. It's still going to be very difficult for us to convince the public. I don't think it's going to be difficult to convince the courts. Joyce Gilchrist has already won some significant victories in her case.
What victories
in her
has she won?
I'll be happy to speak to that. In her case of Joyce Gilchrist versus the city of Oklahoma City, the city filed three motions to dismiss that case on various grounds of qualified immunity and absolute immunity, those sort of things. And the federal judge hearing that case ruled in Joyce Gilchrist's favor in all three of those motions. In other words, he denied all three of those motions. Now, the city has appealed those decisions to the 10th Circuit, and we're fighting that in the 10th Circuit, but I have every confidence based upon the way the orders were written that those decisions will be upheld, and then we'll have the opportunity to come back and go to trial sometime, hopefully later on this year, with that case. And as far as her other case is concerned, the Pierce case, she did not prevail in that case, but we've appealed that case, and we have every confidence that we're going to win that on appeal. So we're very confident.
Okay, now break it down so someone from Hoffman, Oklahoma can understand. You're saying that Joyce Gilchrist has been crucified, and that's a crucifixion, whatever.
Exactly.
Crucified because they are accusing her of using a technique that was not enforced when the act occurred.
Exactly. She's being crucified and has been crucified.
Legally crucified.
That's right. There's been over 300 news stories and news hits regarding this case since it came available, and all of them negative relative to Joyce Gilchrist. When we had our few little victories in court with the various decisions I've mentioned, no news coverage. We can't get her story out, but it will come out eventually. But yes, essentially what happened, take the Pierce case, for example. She testified in that case in 1986, and her and the conviction was upheld. Everything was determined to be fair, legal, and appropriate regarding what happened in that case. The Court of Appeals said so. And then in 2001. So that is 16 years after DNA came along and determined that the bodily fluids that were recovered from that crime was not Pierce. And for that reason, he was released from prison, and the district attorney decided not to retry him, which was certainly the option. So, Joyce Gilchrist did use DNA technology, as I stated before. But, and I think one of the fallacies with this whole situation is that just because something happened in 2001 does not mean that what happened in 86 was improper. And that is what the plaintiffs and Pierce are essentially saying. They said, because ipso facto, because DNA established this in 2001, then therefore what happened in 86 must have been wrong. And that's simply not the case, and I think we will eventually win out on that point in the court of law.
Well, there are some facts that we cannot overlook. Joyce Gilchrist is a black woman. Is that correct?
That's true.
Have there ever been any whites that have been tried on the same type of thing that Joyce has been tried on?
Well, one of the interesting thing about this is, yes, there were a gentleman. There was a gentleman for the FBI who was a hair comparison expert, just as Joyce Gilchrist, but he worked for the FBI, and he actually came and testified against her in her hearing before the Oklahoma City Police.
Okay, go back over there. You took me over in a hurry.
Yeah, a gentleman, FBI agent by the name of Douglas Dietrich, came from Washington, D.C. Now, the interesting thing about Douglas Dietrich, and he is a white gentleman that worked for the FBI. The interesting thing about him is he testified in a case 15 years ago where he did hair comparison, just like Joyce Gilchrist. And this individual was in Tennessee, was convicted of murder partly because of his testimony, and placed on death row in Tennessee. Stayed on death row in Tennessee until the year 2001, and then in 2001 they did DNA technology, and they found that person was not the person that he had previously identified. And that person was released from death row because of this DNA technology. And absolutely nothing happened to Mr. Dietrich.
Oh, no, you can't
no criticism.
You cannot tell me that nobody criticized Mr. Dietrich, a white man, and all this criticism are going to put on Joyce.
Unfortunately, that's the case. No criticism. In fact, he came, and at the hearing, we presented this information to him, and he said, hey, it's not a precise science. And that's our whole point. The science and technology that he used was not precise. But no, he did not suffer any criticism. He'd subsequently been promoted. He's one of the top officials at the FBI in forensic
I don't believe
science.
the freedom-loving people will take that.
Well, we have to get this story out. I don't believe that they will either. I think that people who hear the story, but there's been so much sensation around Pierce. Pierce, a white gentleman who spent 15 years in prison and all of this, and he was on Good Morning America, and everybody talked about the tremendous injustice that had been dealt to him. But the fact of the matter is, he was released based upon technology that didn't even exist at the time he was convicted.
And Douglas has been promoted.
Yes, Douglas has been promoted. He's one of the top. Douglas Dietrich.
Douglas Dietrich. The telephone number out here is 672-1220. If you have any questions for this young attorney, I would like for you to call me here. He's young in terms of practicing 20 years, that's not long, and he has taken on a case that's not so popular. You remind me so much of Roscoe Dungy in that Sidney Hawkins case. And Roscoe was not a lawyer, but he believed just like you believe. Now we believe, and I believe just like you believe, because I can't see how Joyce could do all of that by herself.
That's a significant point. I mean, she was not the police chief. She was not the director of...
Okay.
Oh, we're getting a call?
Yeah, we're getting a call. Okay. This is Clara.
Good morning.
Yes.
Luper.
Yes.
And to Attorney Hall, this is Doc Walker. I have one question to ask that so far I've not heard very much on concerning Miss Gilchrist's case, and that is the part played by the DA at that time in these cases. If maybe there was undue pressure put on her to bear to entice her to make some of her rulings. That hasn't come out yet.
Well, there's been a lot of critics of both Bob Macy and Joyce Gilchrist who have insinuated that she was pressured, but Bob Macy has consistently and steadfastly stated his support for Joyce Gilchrist and that nothing improper ever happened regarding that. And also Joyce Gilchrist has stated steadfastly and consistently that nothing ever. Joyce Gilchrist was a professional. Bob Macy was a professional. But, there was a lot of lawyers who got on television and said that there was all of these cases where people would be released from prison. Do you know what? Over $1 million were spent by the legislature. Here now the state is broke, but over $1 million, $750,000 was spent. $750,000 was appropriated by the Oklahoma legislature to investigate Joyce Gilchrist. The city of Oklahoma City apportioned $250,000, so that's $1 million to investigate Joyce Gilchrist. She's been investigated for almost 2 years, and nothing has come of it. And we can't even get them to talk about what happened to the money. What was the result of the investigation? So nothing of any illegality has ever been found. No one has been released from prison. Everyone who was convicted remains convicted and is still in jail. But, some lawyers, some local lawyers who were trying to, get on television and make a name for themselves came forward and said that Joyce Gilchrist was influenced by Macy, but they don't give any examples, and there are no examples, and there's absolutely no evidence of that, and all of her testimony has been found to be appropriate and just. Yes, she was criticized in a couple of cases for giving her expert opinion, but all of those cases, the people were convicted. The Court of Appeals confirmed that that testimony, although it may have stretched the bounds a little bit, was certainly within the parameters of the law. I'm glad glad you asked that question because it gave me the opportunity to clarify one of the numerous injustices that has been visited upon both Joyce Gilchrist and Bob Macy.
We have another person on the air. This is Clara.
Yes, good morning, Clara.
Yes.
Good morning. Is it Mr. Howell, correct?
Mr. Hall.
Yes.
Melvin Hall is fine.
My name is Mr. Bruner. I'm the worship master of Bright Day Lodge in Arcadia, Oklahoma, and I'd like to first say good morning.
Good morning.
It's an interesting point that you've given over the case with Ms. Gilchrist and the evidence that you presented in the Luper regarding the FBI agent. Dietrich, is that correct?
Douglas Dietrich.
Yeah. What other ramifications are there going to be surrounding Ms. Gilchrist ever getting her job back? Is it not being appealed? I understand that the last few times that she's tried to put in for a reinstatement of her job, that she was disapproved for that.
Well, yes, that's part of our lawsuit for her to be reinstated into her job. We believe that the only way that Joyce Gilchrist can enjoy total and complete vindication of the violation of her rights is for her to be reinstated in her job and for her to go back to the Oklahoma City Police Department and take the chair and take her seat and continue and resume her occupation. And that's what we're pursuing. That case is matriculating through the courts right now, and we're going to see what will happen once some of these rulings are ruled on. But I'm very excited and very confident about the correctness and the appropriateness of our position here. I believe that justice will prevail in the end, but it takes time.
Is there any other neutral testing site that's able to confirm or deny the reports that was given forward that said that all of the tests of Ms. Gilchrist were wrong? Does that need someone to double check?
Well, see, this is again, I think this is a beautiful example of what I've been saying all along and what Clara Luper has been saying. There's so much misinformation out here, and the public has a perception that Joyce Gilchrist gave incorrect, wrong diagnoses on evaluating various evidence. That is not true. The only thing she did was she stated she was an expert witness, and she stated her opinion regarding subjective evidence. All of this evidence was cross-examined and independently reviewed by experts for the defendant in the case, and the jury weighed those competing testimonies, and they rendered their verdict. Joyce Gilchrist, her work is not a precise science. It is not like DNA, 100,000% accurate. It is an opinion, and she gave her opinion, and her opinion has been upheld. Now, 15 years later, people are saying that they disagree with her opinion. That's fine, because it was her opinion. Her opinion is not 100,000% accurate. It's just her opinion based on the evidence, just like any other professional expert witness will testify. But, the media and the critics have said, oh, her decisions have been reversed. None of her decisions have been reversed. Even her testimony in Pierce was not reversed. What happened there was, as I said earlier, DNA technology came available, and we're thankful for DNA technology. In fact, we don't even review hairs under a microscope anymore. You know why? Because we can take that same hair and grind it up and pull the DNA out of that and analyze the DNA from that, and we don't have to do hair comparison. So we're really talking about a dead technology, and that's the real injustice here. The fact that we've been having this debate about an older technology that doesn't even exist anymore, because now you're just going to do DNA on everything, on blood, hair, on any type of tissue. And that's how many of the victims were just in the newspaper today. Many of the victims from the World Trade Center and from various other tragedies are identified now. We don't look at dental records anymore. We do DNA analysis on the tissue.
Yeah.
That is very good. I appreciate your efforts and your courage.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now be sure when you call me, turn your radio down so we can really hear you real well. This is the Clara Luper radio show, and today's show is a hot one because we went to sleep on it, we let it happen, and we've got to do something about it. Attorney Hall, what can we, the public, the freedom-hungry public, do about it? Oh, someone else is on the line. Let's get them first.
Sure.
Hello?
Good morning, Ms. Luper.
Yes.
And to your guests, my question is if Joyce Gilchrist is exonerated and reinstated into her position, will she be qualified to do DNA testing?
It's very interesting that you would bring that question up because for 5 years before Joyce Gilchrist was terminated, she was in charge of developing the Oklahoma City Police Department DNA lab. That was another honor that she had been given, and she was placed in charge of buying all the equipment and setting up all the testing and doing all the qualifying so that lab could be certified as a DNA lab. Yes, she's qualified to do that type of testing, but she was terminated from her job before she could even get the Oklahoma City DNA lab up and running. She was in charge of that, and she was, and still is, I might add, one of the top professionals in Oklahoma City in the whole area of DNA technology, and the city had confirmed that when they appointed her 5 years ago or 7 years ago to be in charge of developing the Oklahoma City Police Department DNA lab. Thank you for that question.
I have just one other question.
Sure.
I'll hang up. And I'm sure all these things are going to be brought up in these court cases. But for a person who was convicted and then before the DNA testing came out, what is there a remedy for exoneration, and what should their position be towards Joyce Gilchrist if she was the expert witness against him in their case? And I'll hang up to hear your answer.
Well, let me mention that there's an international an organization called the Innocence Project, and they have a website. And if you pull their website, you will find a list of over 100 death row inmates who have been convicted around the country. I think the number is like 110 now, who have all been exonerated based upon DNA technology that did not exist at the time that they were convicted. Joyce Gilchrist applauds the advent of DNA technology because this is something that's not subjective. It's not something that can be disagreed with. You're not going to have dueling experts on that. If the DNA says that this evidence says X, well then everyone, including the courts, is going to agree with that because it's an absolute determining factor, unlike other types of inferior technologies like hair comparison. So I think, and the district attorney's office in the state of Oklahoma and numerous other states have changed laws to allow inmates and people who are incarcerated to have their cases re-examined based upon DNA. And I applaud that. I think that's great. If there's something out here that's going to determine 100% whether or not this person is guilty or innocent, I think we should use it. But you know what? Here's the interesting thing about it, that a lot of people who are incarcerated are not asking for DNA technology to be used on their evidence. You know why? Because they know they're guilty, and they know that if it's proven that they are guilty, then they have no chance of getting out of prison early. So that's the interesting thing about that, is they have amended the law to allow for DNA analysis, but a lot of individuals who are incarcerated right now are not taking advantage of it. Very interesting.
Attorney, it's been such a pleasure to be with you this morning, and we are going to have you back because this whole month we're going to be looking at that case, because in Oklahoma City the law is funny. The district attorney say Pete was not beaten. They are saying that Joyce is guilty. Well, there are some questions, and we must answer those questions. You've been very kind to come here today to help me. I've got to answer some questions. Mr. Hall is available. You may call him at
843-9909.
And you have an office here in Oklahoma City?
Yes, I have an office in Oklahoma City. 843-9909 is my phone number.
Okay, well, get that telephone number down and call him. And we need help with this case. This child needs some money to help fight this case. We've fought everything else, and I read where the dogs, we have appropriated thousands of dollars to take care of dog cemetery. Well, we can do it. This is Clara Luper, and I would like to call your attention to, I don't have any tickets left, but some of the girls will have some tickets. We have 12 young ladies that are competing for Miss Black Oklahoma City. Calvin, I know you are all excited because this is a new month. I've dedicated my program today to the young lady that was 101 years old. And
this is a great program, and it's so good to hear another side of the Gilchrist story. Knew it was there, but thank you so much, Attorney Hall, for coming out.
Thank you very much.
Mom, I've been practicing hard this week because I know Mrs. Maddie Former celebrating her 101st birthday, but also Mrs. Versa Goodman is celebrating her 70th birthday, and then there's Annie Mae Childs, who's turning 91 years old tomorrow. So this song goes out to three very special young ladies.
Sing out of your heart.
Renita, I know Versa's your grandmother, your mother, but then you get ready, y'all sit back and you get ready, because this comes from the heart. March special Clara Luper radio show. Good morning. Happy birthday, Maddie. Happy birthday, Versa Goodwin. Happy birthday, Mrs. Anna Mae Childs. Mrs. Former, may you have many more birthdays. Happy birthday to you.
What's the name of your group, Calvin?
Mama, we can't singers and we're available.
We're proving it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Today, the NAACP Executive Committee is meeting at Freedom Center. They will be meeting at 11 o'clock. That's 2609 North Martin Luther King. And those of you that want tickets to the Miss Black Oklahoma pageant or the Miss Black Oklahoma City pageant, see the young ladies because Clara Luper has been sold out. And if anybody come and ask you for an ad, give them an ad. Don't be barking around saying that you can't do it. And if you want to help these young people, you help them. If not, shut your mouth. This is Clara Luper saying, whatever you do and wherever you go, remember Clara Luper believes that Joyce Gilchrist is innocent. Bye-bye. I do love you.
We'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to the Clara Luper Show. Join Sister Clara Luper here each and every Saturday from 9 until 10 at your number one gospel station, KTLV. And until next Saturday, may God bless you. And the views and opinions expressed on the preceding program are not necessarily those of AM Radio 1220 KTLV. This is your key to living victoriously. KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City, and streaming audio at www.ktlv1220.com.